Buenos días muchachos y muchachas, estoy aquí hoy con ustedes para hablar de las conjunciones del capítulo 11. And there are several different kinds of conjunctions that I want to explain to you. First of all, these three ones right here, porque, ya que, and ahora que, these conjunctions always get the indicative because they're used in factual situations where there is no doubt or uncertainty indicated. This just makes sense. When you say because, I'm taking this class because I like that's a fact. You're stating something that's clear and there's no doubt, so there's no subjunctive. You use irregular indicative. Or the word ya que, which means since. Since I can't go to class, I'm taking it online. When you say since I can't go, that's clear. It's a fact. Ya que no puedo, so you use indicative there. Or now that. Ahora que estudio, now that I'm studying Spanish, I can speak with some of my friends. Ahora que estudio español, that's indicative, no doubt. Now, these other conjunctions get subjunctive 100% of the time. That's easy to remember. Once you know these conjunctions, and you know that they're going to be followed by the subjunctive all the time because they indicate uncertainty or intention or doubt. For the example, of course, unless, a menos que. Voy a vivir en Hickory a menos que consiga un trabajo en Atlanta. I'm going to live in Hickory unless I get a job in Atlanta. There's doubt there. Unless I get a job. I may or may not get a job in Atlanta. So you always use subjunctive after a menos que. A menos que consiga un trabajo. Before just gets subjunctive. It's hard to explain why, but antes de que always gets subjunctive when there's two subjects. I'm graduating before my brother goes to the university. I'm graduating before he goes. Me gradúo antes de que mi hermano vaya. So subjunctive. In case. I'm going to call a company in case there's an opening. En caso de que haya una vacante. There may or there may not be an opening. But there's always going to be subjunctive after en caso de que. Para que. They tell us that these two expressions both mean the same thing. Para que or a fin de que. Para que is much more common. I'm sending them my resume so that they have my information. Para que tengan. Para que always gets subjunctive. Provided that. I'll accept the position provided that it has good benefits. As long as it has good benefits. It's uncertain. It may or may not have good benefits, so it always gets subjunctive. Con tal que tenga buenos beneficios. And sin que. They're not going to give it to me without my professor writing me a recommendation. Sin que mi profesor me escriba una recomendación. Now, so the important thing with these is to remember what they are. Remember that en caso de que means in case, and para que means so that, and con tal que means as long as or provided that. It's also important to remember that when you use para by itself, not para que, antes de by itself, not antes de que, and sin by itself, not sin que. And the reason why you would use them that way is because there's only one subject. When you do that, you leave the que off and you use the infinitive. Here's some examples. I'm working to earn money. Trabajo para ganar, in order to earn money. But trabajo para que mis hijos puedan comer. I work so that my kids can eat. The reason why I use para que here is because there's two subjects. I'm working so my kids can eat. They're the second subject. And when you have a second subject, that's when you put in the que and you use subjunctive. If there's only one subject, you leave the que off and you use infinitivo, para ganar. Same thing here. Only one subject. Me baño antes de salir. So I'm showering before I leave. I shower before I leave. It's just me. Before I leave. I shower before I leave. There's no change of subject. So we use infinitivo, salir. Antes de salir. But if I'm showering before my friend gets here, me baño antes de que mi amigo llegue. Now we got two subjects. I'm showering before my friend gets here. So we got to use the que and stick in the subjunctive, llegue. Same thing with sin. No salgo sin comer. I'm not leaving without eating. Just me. But I'm not leaving without my friends coming with me. No salgo sin que mis amigos vengan conmigo. So there your choice is either subjunctive or infinitive. We have a set of conjunctions that are used with, I call them 50-50s. You're either going to get subjunctive or you're going to get, not infinitivo, indicativo. You're either going to get subjunctive or indicativo. And the question is, if the action has not happened yet, that's when you're going to use subjunctive. And if it has, if it's habitual, if it happens all the time, that's when you can use the regular indicative. Because it happens, there's no doubt about it. And here they are. Cuando, en cuanto, hasta que, and después de que. For example, I always eat when I get home. Siempre como cuando llego a casa. This is an example of a habitual action, because the word siempre means always. This always happens. I always eat when I get home. So you use llego, regular indicative. But if I say, I'm gonna eat when I get home, voy a comer cuando llegue a casa, that hasn't happened yet. I haven't gotten home yet. The word that comes after cuando, get home, arrive to the house. I haven't arrived. So if that hasn't happened, you use subjunctive. Same thing here. Normalmente hago la tarea en cuanto salgo de clase. Normally I do my homework as soon as I leave class. That's a normally, happens normally, regular. As soon as I leave, en cuanto salgo, so you use indicative. But if you say, I'm gonna do my homework as soon as I leave class, then you haven't left class yet, so you have to use the word leave in subjunctive. Voy a hacer la tarea en cuanto salga de clase. Then we have todos los días, estudio hasta que comprendo. I study every day until I understand the material. And that happens every day, todos los días, so it's habitual, regular indicative. Comprendo. But tonight, esta noche, I'm studying until I understand it. That means you haven't understood it yet. So you need to use subjunctive, hasta que lo entienda. Now, if it happens already in the past tense, you can just use regular past tense. Yesterday, I studied until I understood it. Hasta que lo entendí. Because that happened, so you just use the regular past tense. Now, the last thing here is that just like with para and sin and antes de, if there's only one subject, you leave it in the infinitive. I get dressed after I eat. Me visto después de comer. I dress after I eat. But if I say, tomorrow I'm going to get dressed after my kids get up. Tomorrow I'm getting dressed after my kids. So there's me, I'm getting dressed after my kids. So that hasn't happened yet, and there's two subjects, so we need to use subjunctive. Después de que mis hijos se levanten. Espero que esto les ayude a entender el material.